Welcome to this new channel. I've called it Disillusioned Dave. So my name is David Turner. A quick rundown is I'm a former ex-Royal Marine commando. I did 9 years in the Royal Marines, and then I worked the rest of my career in the oil business, in the drilling side, basically on oil rigs offshore and on land. and predominantly worked in the Middle East. Quite a lot in the Far East, but predominantly in Middle East. So I have some understanding of the culture of the Middle East, and this is some of the things that I'll talk about. I can back up because I lived and worked there for many years. I'm now 70 years old. I'll be 71 in March coming. So as I say, just a quick history. And the reason I started this channel is I have another channel, but it's classic cars. And I don't want to bring that into this channel because I have a lot of issues. The reason I've called it Disillusioned Dave is because I'm very disillusioned with the way things are in the world at the moment. Now I'm a British or UK citizen. I was born in London. I was actually born within the sound of Bow Bells, which actually makes me a Cockney. But I've lived quite a bit of my life outside the UK. So I've lived in the Middle East. I've lived in Australia, and I also now live in Austria. My wife is Austrian, and I've been here for the last 25 years. And so I just wanted to give you a quick, brief history of where I'm coming from and why I've started this channel up. So this video I'm putting up is just one of many subjects I'd like to touch on. I think there's a lot of people that are concerned about this around the world, but unfortunately, I find in today's modern world there's an awful lot of apathy around, and I've got the dictionary here, or not the dictionary, but I've got the dictionary of the meaning of apathy, which we all know, but it's quite clear. It's lack of interest, or lack of concern, or lack of enthusiasm, and lack of concern certainly is a big problem in the West at the moment. We seem to think that these governments, our governments, are going to change things or do things that the citizens want, where what's happening in the world is, unfortunately, the minorities are dictating to the majority. It's a piss poor situation. It's something that we need to change. There's some massive changes that need to be made. Now, as I said, I live in Austria, so people might say, well, why are you talking about Britain or whatever? But as a community, as a democracy, we should guard these things. Now, what's going on in the world right now with the amount of illegal immigration in the UK, and it's not just in the UK, it's happening everywhere. There was, many years ago, there was an idea that, well, with the Western world, we've got money, and we've got extra money to enjoy ourselves with, we should help people worse off than ourselves. And, at face value, that's a fair comment, but it's got to the point now where it's becoming the minority are dictating to us. It's like the word Islamophobia. This is a word that was made up by the Muslims, by the Islamists, to make us feel inferior, or not inferior, but in a way, but make us sound like we're racist or being unfair to them or whatever. This is a typical situation where you can use language like they do these days with these pronouns and all this other crap that people go on about to make somebody else feel bad or cancel them or whatever, mainly the woke types and the loony left. Unfortunately, more people are middle ground, but now it's called being right wing. Right wing wasn't right wing when I was at school, and left wing isn't left wing what it was now. They're so extreme, it's unbelievable. Anyway, the point I wanted to make on this video is there's an awful lot going on, particularly in the UK and in Europe. I think Europe is starting to wake up. I hope it is. It's starting to wake up to this influx of people who have a culture and a religion which is 180 degrees from what we believe in. And we need to nip it in the bud. And the reason I say that, and the reason I have this conviction, is because I worked a lot in the Middle East, in different parts of the Middle East, as far as Yemen and quite a lot of countries in Africa and a lot of places with Muslim countries, and I understand how they work and I understand their thinking. And the issue is that they believe that the world, and they are taught this every day at the mosque, or the imams are telling them this, that they must make the world Islam, or must make it a Muslim faith. So by that very fact, anybody who is non-Muslim, doesn't matter whether you're Jewish, Christian, Catholic, Buddhist, whatever, is an infidel to them. Now, the whole point of a Christian society is that we look after each other and we tolerate other people. The word toleration, I don't even think it is in I don't think it's even in the Quran. Toleration. I don't think there's such a word in their Quran or the equivalent of our Bible. Now, I'm not a religious person whatsoever, but I still believe in those things. I still believe in a Christian way of looking at things. Look, not treating animals or people badly, turning the other cheek up to a point, but they're just Christian values, even though I don't believe in it. But we are at a point now. We're getting to loggerheads, and if we don't get rid of this apathy that we have. I mean, the typical example of this is I have lots of friends and I talk to them they're talking about politics in the UK and what's happening in the UK. And then when I ask, well, did you vote? And they're saying, well, no, I didn't, because they're all the same. Voting is a particular example. When I say to some people, did you vote for the Mayor of London? No. Did you vote in the general election? No. Well, if we stop voting, if we stop using that vote, which is what people are pushed into because they want to believe that nothing's going to change, we're going to be in a very poor situation. People fought and died in wars for us to have this vote. In Australia, for instance, where I lived for many years, for over a decade, you actually get a fine if you don't vote, which I think is a good thing. Unless you've got some reason, a good reason, you will be fined, and I think that's right. And this is why people like Sadiq Khan, the arsehole that he is, the traitor that he is to the country, he keeps getting into power, because when it comes to the vote, all the Muslim people will vote. No matter what Sadiq Khan did, if he went around biting off babies' heads, he would still get the vote from the Muslim community, because that's the way they work. Their religion or their indoctrination into this system is stronger than anything else. Certainly stronger than being in the country, any patriotism to the country. So they bust these people in. There's a lots of fraud going on where these people are voting using the same names, the same IDs, and they've got together, and we're just letting them do this. So this apathy needs to stop in lots of things. It needs to stop when it comes to attacks. The amount of times I see attacks, now I understand people are frightened and scared, but the amount of people I see being attacked on trains or wherever it is, and nobody seems to jump in, or a group of people will pull down, even using a backpack or a chair or something. But why young men are running, or whatever, old middle-aged men are running away from these attackers? If they've got guns, it's a different story, but there's enough people there to get together, you can bring these people down. But nobody seems to want to get involved. It's nothing to do with me, I'll leave it. This is apathy, and this apathy is causing the issues that we have, or is the reason we're in the situation we're in with this illegal immigration in the UK and over-immigration, not just in the UK, it's happening everywhere in Europe. And they're coming for predominantly one reason. They're coming for financial reasons. They're not coming because they're in a war-torn country. They're actually going through 6 or 8 countries before it. They are dumping their any ID that they have, and the other idea that these so-called poor immigrants that are coming across on boats are paying $5,000 or $6,000 or $3,000 or whatever it is to some gangs. There is no gangs. Gangs are not doing this with these boats. This is governments. This is government organised to bring these people in and flood it for their main reasons, I believe, are for getting cheap labour. Because if you bring people in from countries, third world countries, they're uneducated. This is no fault of their own, but they're uneducated, and they'll do whatever it takes to survive. And it seems to be almost like they want to swap, but it's the people with the money. So people like countries like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, they're the ones putting the money into this. They're paying for these people to come over because they don't want them in their own countries. You can't go around in the UAE, which I know extremely well. I've been going there for in excess of 40 years. You can't go into the UAE and put a banner up for Hamas or the Christian or the Muslim Brotherhood and all that. You just can't do it. You can't do it in Saudi Arabia, and yet they're Muslim countries. Tells you everything you need to know. Anyway, I just wanted a quick into this. Please put down your comments or whatever you think. You think I'm wrong or right or whatever. But I wanted to make this channel because I want to bring these things to people's attention. Whether it'll make any difference or not, I don't know. But it might get it, at least it gets it off my chest. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Take care.